Hey, what's up guys, Steven here, welcome back to another video, and today we're taking a closer look at the most premium smartwatch of 2025. So guys, get ready for the all-new Huawei Watch Ultimate 2. So this watch has extremely premium materials and build quality, a waterproof rating of 20 ATM that's up to 150 meters for diving, and a very long battery life. So guys, I will not let you wait any longer, let's have a closer look at the watches. So guys, there we go. And now, before we talk about all the functions and the user interface and stuff like this, let's simply talk about the design, because what Huawei did here is they have created one of the most beautiful smartwatches in the world. Honestly, I already like the original Huawei Watch Ultimate, but this one here in blue, I'm really sold. Honestly guys, even if I have to return this watch after this video, this is the watch I'm going to buy. I simply love it. I fell in love with the design and it's simply stunning. So first, let's talk about the design and the materials. So I have here the blue and the black version, as you can see. So both of the watches are very beautiful, I think, but I think the blue version, seriously, I was wearing this watch now when I went to Switzerland on some other trip for a brand, and there were many people that were rich, obviously it's Switzerland, many people with high-end mechanical watches, and all of them complimented me for this smartwatch because, I mean, just look at this, the craftsmanship, the materials. It looks like a mechanical watch, but at the same time, it's a smartwatch that can track everything, and it's such a beautiful thing for whatever reason you want to wear a watch. But yeah, also the black version, I think it looks really beautiful. Now, it is a little bit more sporty, as you can see already from the user interface, how it looks like, the black, red and white. So it's a bit more for the outdoor adventurer or for the crazy sporty adrenaline people. But the blue one here is such a classy, cool looking accessory that you can wear with everything, like a black suit, like even normally dressed. And I think it always has just a really beautiful look and a special feeling when you're wearing this watch. Now, let's get already started. Let's talk a little bit about the materials. So we have liquid metal amorphous zirconium alloy. This is for the housing, so for the casing, and it is really scratch resistant. It also has an ultra hard coating, and I tried to scratch it under the microscope with my sharp tweezers. Now, you could scratch it here a little bit, but the moment you wipe over it, yeah, the scratches were gone. It is actually really impressive how durable this watch is. We also have sapphire glass. So you know it already from other Huawei watches. Sapphire glass is ultra scratch resistant. You can scratch over it with a screwdriver, with a knife, with anything sharp. You can even try to hammer it. You won't get any scratches. And also all my Huawei watches, I have them now for over a year. Even look here, this is the GT5 Pro I'm now wearing since the release. There is not a single permanent scratch here on the screen. So materials, fantastic. Another thing is, this is a real ceramic bezel. It is called a nanocrystal ceramic bezel, and I looked at it under the microscope, and it is also super scratch resistant. The surface is so smooth, it doesn't matter how sharp the object is you want to scratch it with, it just glides over it. So this bezel, if you bump it into multiple door frames or whatever usually happens, you can be sure, it won't look destroyed even after you bump it in there multiple times. Then here, this is also nanocrystal ceramic, so on the inside feels really nice, the material doesn't give me any reaction to my skin. And also we have this octagonal hollow out design, which I think looks really cool, with 3 buttons. We have a rotatable crown right over here. Now also all the other buttons here rotate, but that doesn't have any functionality. You see the button right over here, for instance, opens up here the sub menu. This one here, the main button, can be used to swipe here around, also to go basically to the menu. And the other one, for instance, here, customized to go to the workout. And also in the workout modes, like in the diving mode, all those buttons play a specific role. On this side right over here, we have the XTAP sensor, and this thing gives you real-time SPO2 measurements, but also if you put your finger on there, you can actually start the health glance. So basically, you just put your finger on there for 30 seconds, and then it will give you a full, basically, insight on your health, doing various checks. But so far from my tests, the XTAP sensor in the Ultimate 2 is working really reliable, and it was probably one of the best out of the box measurement experiences I had on a Huawei smartwatch. Now, talking about the screen, absolutely beautiful screens, great outdoor visibility, great viewing angles, great colors. So the screen is a 1.5-inch high brightness LTPO 2.0 screen. Looks really fantastic. We have 4% better screen to body ratio than the predecessor, but honestly, screen to body ratio on the Ultimates doesn't really matter to me much because the bezels are so beautiful. I absolutely love it. So I want to have that bigger bezel, which is a little bit to show off, you know. There's also differences between the black version and the blue version. So let me show you that. So as I've told you before, the black version is more sportier, maybe more mountain. And as you can see here, there's north, east, south, west on there and the degrees. While there's a different approach on the blue one. So it's more like ocean, nice color. And here, as you can see, we have the blue white ceramic bezel with the time on there. So a little bit of different attempt, maybe not that crazy sporty, but more elegant. And if you ask me, I would take the blue one over the black one anytime. Now, other than that, the body is basically the same. If you look at it from this side, you can see this red line around it, but there's also the red line around the crown, which is the same. The body color is a bit different. So as you can see here, it's a more light silver. Here it's more like a darker matte gray. Anyhow, the rest is the same. Just a quick reminder, this is a watch that is waterproof up to 20 ATMs, or for diving 150 meters. So that's actually 150 meters diving standard water resistant, which exceeds the 10 ATM, which most of the watches have. And basically this really sets a new benchmark in smartwatch durability. And here you can see this little thing with the screw right over here. Don't open it because there's also a seal inside. So to make sure that watch stays also waterproof. Now guys, I just want to give you a very quick comparison between the GT6 and the Ultimate 2, because as you can see, there's a big size difference, and it's a really big difference actually if you switch from a GT series to an Ultimate series. First of all, the Ultimate, of course, it is thicker, as you can see right over here, but also the dial. Now we're looking here at 48.5 millimeters against 46. It doesn't sound like it's a lot bigger, but trust me guys, it is a lot bigger. So on my hands, it is actually, on my wrist actually, it is looking fine. It's kind of a statement. It's big, it's not too big, but if you don't like really big watches, well, maybe have a closer look at the GT series. The GT series also has a much smaller bezel, at least this year. Last year, the bezel, the GMT bezel here was a bit bigger, as you can see. Now, I was a big fan of this one here, but also on the Ultimate, that big bezel, because it's such a nice, polished, great looking ceramic bezel. I really prefer that it looks bold, because this is, yeah, a really bold statement. And now let's talk a little bit about the strap. Now, this is the strap. It was attached to the watch. It's the sporty strap, but also there's a different strap inside of the box. So on the blue one, you can see it's this silicone rubber strap with that insert, which is also, rubber. But here on the GT6, for instance, there's a woven strap, which is some textile in there. So on the Ultimate, this is not textile, this is also rubber, but also just keep in mind, this is a diver's smartwatch. So it should have materials that, can handle diving very well, and this strap does. On the black version, the strap is a little bit different. It's a little bit more basic, I would say, but still material feels very good, very durable. And inside of the box, there are also more straps. So let's have a closer look on the other straps. So there we go. Let me show you what you can find inside of the box, because in the Ultimate, well, the experience is pretty premium. So in there you will usually find the watch. On the left side you'll find the charger, but on the right side you can actually see that there are more straps included. So let's have a closer look. And there we go. So first of all, you have an extension for the rubber straps, so you can make this really big. Now I have already kind of big wrists, but the normal strap fits me perfectly well, so I don't need the extended one. And we also have here this metal strap, and it looks fantastic. Maybe let me take it out so I can show you how to attach it. So let's go. Now without tools, if you don't have nails, it's a little bit difficult to get the strap out, but let's attach this one now. And also you have to put it in here and press, and you should be able to attach it. Yeah, so there we go. I hope it's now the correct side. So yeah, I made it, and here we have the metal strap. Now the links, they feel yeah, not so stiff together. Now I have many watches where the links, they really feel like stiff. This one feels more like on the looser side, I would say, but quite comfy, to be honest. Now let's put it on, and I think it looks actually really great. So you can easily change the strap, you know, take it on a meeting if the other strap is too sporty for you. But honestly, great looking strap, great materials. And the thing is, this strap is super light. Absolutely crazy how light this watch feels with the strap. Like, it feels like the strap is just made out of paper, but at the same time, also great quality. And look at this. It's really scratch resistant. So if I try to scratch it, well, it doesn't really show up. And I have a lot of stainless steel watches, also some quite expensive ones. Can you hear that sound? Now I'm really scratching it, but there is nothing on there. So that's also really important, because, you know, after a while wearing watches for a long time, especially stainless steel ones, they get really scratched, and then you have to polish them, then they don't have the same structure anymore and they look bad. But here, this is amazing. Very light material, very scratch resistant, as you can see. So just wipe over it and it's gone. And yeah, also great build quality, and it closes nicely. All right, so we just had a closer look at the design, but now it's time to explore the features. So well, first of all, watch face. Beautiful designed watch face for each design. The black one looks nice on the black one, the blue one looks absolutely stunning here on the blue one. But if you want to change the watch face, you can just hold and tap, so tap and hold, and then you can switch it. Now you will see power levels over each watch face. But what does that mean? That's basically how much power it drains. The more it's animated, the more crazy the watch face is. Of course, the more battery it drains. So I think this was the watch face from the older Ultimate, from the blue one, and it also fits this one here really nice. I absolutely love this one. All right, now let's swipe over here, and here you can see some quick overview, some insights. Here, for instance, your health insight, weather widget, event widget. And as you can see, the widgets here have been overworked. There is new animations, and you can also edit this. So in those cards or widgets, you can basically add different things. So here you can add things like training plans, sleep tracking, naps, etc. And you can have it here in those quick view cards. Also, there's a music player in there. So from here, you can also start to play music. So now if we swipe here to the other side, we have that overview you can swipe through. So here you see several things like your activity, quick toggles to quickly go to maps, to do calls, whatever. Also right over here, you see many things, but all of that is customizable. So that's the cool thing about it. Now, if you tap and hold, you can actually add new combos or whatever you see right over here. So if you go to view all, you see there is actually many of them in there, like basically also graphs over your heart rate, SPO2. Basically, you can display everything that is important to you. Now, every person is different. Some of them, they want to track the calories. Some of them want to have more about the sleep tracking. Some of them want to have SPO2, heart rate. All of that can be customized to your needs to have it directly on the home screen here. And also, those widgets right over here, as you've seen, you can edit them, you can order them new. So I think the UI is very cool. Many people say not so much has been added, but you have already everything you need in there and you can arrange it however you want to. So I think that's more than enough. Now, if we swipe up from the bottom, you can see here the notifications. You can also use the rotatable crown to go through it. And I'm using it now with an iPhone 17 Pro Max. Notifications are working perfectly fine. The moment I get it on the phone, the same moment it's on the watch. There is no delay, and yeah, iOS has basically no limitations anymore. So Huawei is putting a lot of effort into the watches because they know they have great products. So they also try to make it as good available. So they also try to make it as much compatible as they can with iPhones, basically iOS devices. So now if you swipe down from the top, you get here to the quick toggles. So here you can quickly turn on the focus or sleeping mode. You can ring your phone like a phone finder, alarms, torch, and also you can swipe up here. So here you can set the screen to on, like the maximum is now 20 minutes, or not turn off the screen. Brightness in auto goes up really bright, so you don't need to to worry about adjusting the brightness yourself. Of course you can do it, but I keep it usually in auto mode. The watch has Wi-Fi, it has eSIM functionality, you can turn on the airplane mode, you can drain water, and you can switch on the battery saver. But also that is customizable, as you can see. If you want to remove things or add things, you can also do it right over here. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So the whole user interface has been overworked, and I think Huawei is doing a pretty good job on that, so that there's everything you need in there. Now, you see 3 buttons right over here. So the down button for now, it opens up here, for instance, a quick menu to access things like calls, the health checkup or workouts. So the left one is now, for instance, set to the workout mode for golfing, and the right one opens up here the main menu, as you will see. So this one here in the list view right now. But also here, the main menu, it's customizable. You can also have the hex view if you want to. So it looks like this on the blue one. And I will just make display a little bit less bright for filming. So looking better already. And you see, they have now designed a special theme for each watch. So the blue one has this kind of icy theme. The black one has this black and red sporty theme, which is really cool. But honestly, I prefer to have the list view because it's just much easier for me to access all the apps and stuff right over here. So maybe let's have a closer look and let's go quickly through all the things we have right over here. First of all, here we have workout. So the watch supports over 100 workout modes, and I've used it now for the last 2 weeks, mainly for indoor cycling, outdoor cycling, and also the Expedition mode, as you will see later. But you have so many things in there. You have pool swimming, you have open water swimming, and you also have diving and golfing. Now for cyclists, guys, this watch is absolutely amazing because it supports the virtual power meter. So you don't need to have a power meter. I'll show you after how that works. Really fantastic feature. And the dive mode is probably the thing where this smartwatch really shines. So let me just show you what you can see in there. So you have recreational dive mode, you have free dive mode, you have technical dive mode, diving gorge, and there's also this new thing, it's called diver comms, so diver communication. You have the dive tools that you have seen before already, like the NDL calculator, apnea training, apnea test, etc., etc. You have the settings right over here, which is basically auto start, dive, and auto dive end, depending on the pressure. And well, the diver comms is basically that new thing. The watch has a built-in sonar, which is pretty mind-blowing because competition like Garmin, they actually require to use additional hardware you have to buy that is performing worse than what Huawei has built into this watch. So what you can see right over here is that you can use the sonar built in to communicate. Well, of course you need another Huawei Watch Ultimate to use that communication, but let me show you how it works because it is really mind-blowing. Now, here you can basically add buddies. So I already added this watch as Mia, for instance, but if you want to add a new buddy, you can search or enter manually the ID. And then basically the watches are linked and you can do the messaging. So you have quick messages, over 50 messages are available that you can basically set up here, and you can add up to 50 dive buddies, which is also pretty crazy. And here you can see for the different types of diving, you have different quick messages which you can adjust right over here. So let me just quickly show you how that works. We're doing now an above water test. So basically we can use the sonar now not in the water, but well, basically it will tell us if that thing is working. So let's go here, diver communication, and we go here to the above water test. And it is using now sound waves. So basically that speaker, that sonar thing will just put out really loud sound waves that usually travel then in the water to the watch. But here it also works, of course, in the medium, which is air. And let's send a message right now. So for instance, I need help, okay? And you see it already pops up on the other watch. Now it sounds really weird, like some dolphin or something like this, but yeah, it is working really, really cool. And for instance, we can also send emoticons, like dolphins or sharks or whatever. Let's send the message. And there we go. This is really fantastic. And this works, of course, underwater because sound waves can travel underwater. Absolutely cool feature. Now, this is the sonar. Here you can test it. This works around 30 meters maximum effective distance, but the SOS function, like if you need help, they boosted up the signal range, which is up to 60 meters. So if you're 60 meters, for instance, below, you can send the SOS function. It will travel that you need help through the waters like up to 60 meters. So yeah, that's the sonar feature. And once you just have a real dive and you go, for instance, for a recreational dive, you choose here also the medium. As you can see, you have all this calculator also in there. I'm not a diver, to be honest. So if you want to have more information on that, go and check it out on some other channels that focus on diving. But I was just having a look on how that sonar works because that was really impressive. So let's start now a dive, for instance, here, and let me just show you how the user interface then works. So you have those 3 buttons right over here, and you have seen basically what they do. So you can use the crown also underwater to navigate here. And it is crazy how technically they did it, that you have up to 150 meters of water, water resistance, and then you can still use a rotatable crown on there. This is absolutely fantastic. So you can use the crown, as I've said, but you can also use the button here to navigate here through the pages. And here you can see several things, like we have a compass right over here. We have here the depth currently, we have a stopwatch, underwater time. It can also track here the air, temperature, NDL, underwater time, and all of that stuff. And if you press this button right over here, it opens up here, for instance, the diver comms. And you see here the down button is to accept. And then you can quickly send, for instance, a message. And it is really easy to do. So you can just swipe here through the messages. You see you have plenty of messages which can also be adjusted. And for instance, like this, it's just sending the message then via the sonar, and you get also confirmation that the message has been sent. So this is really, really cool. So actually really mind-blowing that they built this in such a small smartwatch. So really, really cool. So here also you can reset the average depth, and that's basically what you can do with the buttons. But also you can see you can use the crown here to go here basically through the function. Now for the SOS, you need to press and hold the communication button. And let me show you how it looks like. So it takes around 10 seconds and then you can send the SOS. And this is the SOS. It will send it non-stop, of course. And this for a range up to 60 meters. So yeah, pretty cool. Maybe that even saves lives. All right, guys, so that's regarding diving. Now, as I've told you, I'm not a diver. Please check out some other channels that, just go on that a little bit more in depth. I used it for cycling a lot, and we have an upgraded sunflower positioning system. Of course, we have more space, so they have also like more room to improve the antennas. We have 30% more accurate route tracking, 20% more accurate distance tracking, and 20% more accurate pace tracking. So this is one of the most accurate smartwatches on the market. Of course, it features also the golf mode, which you have already seen on my review of the GT6 Pro. I don't want to make this too long because we covered this many times already. So basically you can download the maps of courses from nearby location based. Like if you go to a golf course, you can just turn this feature on, it will download the map for you. If you have an eSIM, if not, you need to use a phone and transfer the map. And with the downloaded courses, you can basically just, start the tracking right away from the smartwatch. And it works for golf courses or for the driving range. And it gives you even colored maps of the golf course and various data for playing golf. So that's really, really amazing. So other than that, there's over 100 workout modes, everything has been improved, skiing has been improved, like on the GT6, many things, better tracking, more features. So have a closer look at that. Then for all the adventurers, of course, there is again the Expedition mode. I will also show you that just in a second in a test, what you can do with it. So basically it's really a professional expedition mode for exploring with rich and accurate data. Then we have the diving also right over here, just like we've seen. We have the same route draw functionality like also on the GT6. You can see your workout records directly here on the smartwatch, but if you want to have more data, of course, you should go into Huawei Health, because in there you will see all your data and all your statistics. So workout status, activity records. There's also Stay Fit on all the Huawei watches, which is a pretty cool feature to track your calories. So here you can just put in very quickly, like a quick ad, like what you had, breakfast, lunch, dinner, what you ate, and basically count the calories. So if you want to monitor your calorie intake, especially for losing weight, but also for gaining weight, this is very cool to first of all track your calories, and second of all, stay a bit more motivated. Then here you have health insights. So basically here you can see if something changed, like this is also very important. Trends, because you're wearing this watch for a longer time. If something changes in your body, the watch can tell you, hey, something is going out of order or something is a bit weird, maybe check it up with a doctor. This is where I also see that those watches really help to maintain your health. Health Glance is really cool. This quickly measures your health. Basically, we have seen that feature already on the Ultimate and other watches. Just put your finger on the XTAP sensor and it takes 60 seconds and it does a full health test, which gives you a lot of insights, as we'll see later in Huawei Health. There's also emotional well-being, and for the first time, I think the emotional or stress tracking on a smartwatch works really good. At least this time, it really felt like the watch knows exactly how I was feeling. So here we have the heart rate tracking. So the watch supports continuous heart rate tracking, also with graphs, as you can see right over here. So also HRV tracking, which is supported by this watch, and also the arrhythmia, as you will see a little bit later. We have ECG functionality. It also uses the XTAP sensor as the electrode, and it's working really good. The XTAP sensor on the Ultimate is working very reliable. Even if your finger is a bit sweaty or something like this, it is not stopping. So it's very, very good. There's arterial stiffness detection, also constant SPO2 tracking, and also you get real-time SPO2 with fingertip SPO2 tracking if you put it on the XTAP sensor. There is skin temperature measurement as well, as you can see right over here. There's sleep tracking, which I use to get also a breakdown of deep sleep, light sleep, REM sleep, and stuff like this. But more on that you also get in Huawei Health. There's also breathing awareness, and so also while you're sleeping, it tracks your heart rate, HRV, and also your respiratory rate, which is really cool as well. There's breathing exercise, of course. You can do phone calls. The microphone is sounding really good. There's also AI noise cancellation, so for a clear voice, even in noisy environments. And if you set up an eSIM, you can do calls directly from the watch. You can also pair like headphones, like the FreeBuds, AirPods, or whatever, to do calls like this. Then, of course, contacts, messaging, music player is also in there, so you can play music directly here from the watch. Remote shutter, which also works for Insta360, because there's now an Insta360 app, which is pretty amazing. There is wallet, so you can add cards on there. Basically same like on the GT6 Pro. I'm working in the European countries with Euro, but also Poland with Zloty. Then here we have alarms, timer, stopwatch, torch, calculator. You can see all those things, but also cool, it has an air pressure sensor. So it tracks also the air pressure very accurately, and it can also detect, of course, the height, which is really cool for the Expedition mode as well. So here's also Find My Phone, games you can play with the XTAP sensor, maps, app gallery. You can install apps directly from the watch, or you can use it from the phone to push it on the smartwatch. And also now there's pulse wave arrhythmia analysis. It's working really good. It does it in the background, and you see no abnormalities for me right now. So suspected AFib, if you have something detected, it will also show up right over here. And you see it measured already for me 28 times in total. That is new since the latest update, which I installed, I think, yesterday or the day before. So that's also cool. Now, other than that, it is really amazing that you can install so many applications on the smartwatch. So you can install Spotify controls, music streaming, Insta360. And the cool thing is with an eSIM, attached or actually set up on the smartwatch, you can even use those applications without your phone if they require an internet connection. So this watch is Huawei's top of the line model if you want to have it all, if you want to have the best build quality, best materials, craziest functionality, newest features like diving, sonar, etc. If you really want to have all of this, then there is no way around this. And personally for me, this is one of the best smartwatches on the market. So let's just very quickly talk about the settings, battery life. Now, paired with an iOS device, I paired it now with the 17 Pro Max. So the battery life is up to 3.5 to 4 days in typical use. With the always on display on, it's around 2.5, 3 days, at least for my usage. But well, I'm not using an eSIM inside of the smartwatch. Now, if you use it in the standard mode, on an Android, it is like 4.5 days. So you get around 1 day more, so a little bit better battery life than on iOS devices. But if you put it in a power saving mode, you get up to 11 days in light use, up to 6 days in typical use, and with the always on display on, you get up to 4 days of usage, which I think is still impressive for all the features that watch has. And you can also set it up that automatically switches to battery saver mode, which really helps if the battery runs like below 15%. It goes to that saver mode and you can still use it for quite some time until it turns off. Now the watch has Wi-Fi. As you can see, I'm currently connected. You can set up the eSIM and Huawei Health. It has Bluetooth, it has NFC. You can connect it with a treadmill, with other external heart rate straps. Then here there's different themes, display and brightness. You can set here the always on display and various other things. So yeah, that's right over here. Then system, so in here you can also do the updates, but also that works on Huawei Health or even standalone on the watch if it has the internet connection. And you can also download colored maps on the watch. You can do that in Huawei Health, and also it has the emergency SOS functionality. So let me show you how that works. There is the fall detection. So if the watch detects that the person wearing the watch falls down, it will open up a pop-up within 14 seconds. You then have up to a minute time to close the pop-up. If you don't do that, like if you're unable, if you fell and you cannot do that, then it will automatically initiate an emergency call. That works if it's connected to a phone via Bluetooth, or if you have an eSIM inserted. So it uses the eSIM, of course, if you have an eSIM. If not, it will just connect to the phone and use the phone to do the emergency call. Great feature for probably older people, or even if you're maybe a clumsy person. So now let me show you the hand gestures. They work in some of the applications like phone, alarm, and something like this. And let me show you how that works like. For instance, if I want to snooze the alarm, I just tap my index finger to the thumb, like a double tap. Snooze successfully, and it's working really good. And then there's also slide to navigate. It's like slide your thumb forwards along your index finger twice. So let's try this. And as you can see, that worked really good. So honestly, I'm not really using that a lot, but nice to have feature. Now this is the fingertip SPO2 measurement. So you just put your finger on there and you get real-time data of your SPO2. So it also gives you a graph here on the right side. So you have the right amount of pressure. Now if I press too hard, it goes to the red. If I'm too loose, it goes down here. So try to keep it here in the green. And as you can see, I get in real time my heart rate and also in real time my SPO2, which is pretty cool. And lift your finger and the measurement and super smooth. Now, ECG is also important to many people, and I can confirm that ECG is working pretty good. So you see the XTAP sensor, I just put my finger on there, and it's working really smooth. So on some watches, you know, there's always some error after some time. Even if you move the finger a little bit, then of course you need to keep your finger steady on there. But as you see, it normalizes and it's working really good. It will also tell you if there's a poor contact with the XTAP sensor, so you can try to make your finger a little bit wet or adjust. But yeah, as you can see, inconclusive because I moved. So yeah, it is working really fine, but last ECGs I took, yeah, no problem at all. But you need to keep your finger steady on there.
So guys, let's go. Let's do a GPS test. And well, it's October, the rainy season, the cold season has started, but this is actually a good weather to really test the GPS capabilities of the watch. Now we're starting here in a suburban area with lower houses, then we'll go outside on the open field, and then we'll go through the forest. And all of that with really cloudy weather, as you can see, no direct sunlight and no open sky, so let's go. All right, so let's do this. We're starting right here with the workout. We are now choosing here the outdoor cycle, and you can put in your bike, as I've mentioned already on the review of the GT6 Pro. So you can add your bike. For instance, you just put in which bike it is. You can do this directly on the watch or on the smartphone, share bike, commuter bike, road bike, mountain bike, whatever. And then you put in also the weight of the bike, and with that basically the watch can calculate your virtual power. So you get a kind of power meter. It's a virtual one, but it's working really, really good. So we're choosing now bike 2, which is actually my bike right over here. We are now going to start the workout, and yeah, it found the fix really fast. And what you can see here, now the phone acts as a bike computer. This is really, really cool. So as you can see right now, it is loading the map. You can see where you're going. Also, you can see all your data right over here. You can see the incline and you can see the virtual power. So you don't need to have a power meter on your bike. This is all being calculated by Huawei algorithms and the data which is provided by the watch. And it is pretty accurate and working actually really good. So this also works on the iPhone. I've tested it also on the 17 Pro Max. So this is really great. This watch is not only capable of working with Huawei smartphones, Android smartphones, all of those cool features like also bike computer are available also on iOS. So guys, we made it, and yeah, the watch was doing pretty good, even though there was really bad weather conditions, as you can see. GPS seemed to be fine. I took the same route like with the GT6 Pro and the GT5 Pro, also going around here in the circles at the end. So we're going back to the office to compare this. But just very quickly, this virtual power meter is the most awesome thing I've ever seen if you're looking for a smartwatch for cycling, because it works incredibly well. The incline is probably like calculated, or the data is taken off from the gyro sensor in the watch, and I tested it out going up, going down, and really almost in real time with a little bit of delay it showed the incline and was also then calculating the virtual power correctly. If you're going down, like going back to 0, if you're going up, depending on the incline, up to 300 watts, so it was really exhausting. So I don't have a real power meter to compare. There are other channels that do scientific calculations about that, so make sure to check it out. But to me, all the data seems very conclusive and also pretty accurate, and the polling rate, like where it grabs the data from the watch, seems also to be fast. So as a cyclist, I'm absolutely happy with that. So guys, let me show you the Expedition mode, and I would say it's a little bit more an extreme tracking mode than a regular sports tracking mode. So this is basically really for exploring, for going to the wilderness, the open field, without thinking too much, but still having a companion on your wrist that keeps you safe and tracks everything. So let me show you what that means. First of all, here in the settings, you can see a usage guide, and you can also adjust the positioning interval. So if your watch should track your position like every 5 minutes, of course it will drain more battery than every 45 or 90 minutes. So this is available to adjust right over here. Same for the steps. There's also storm warning routes, as you can see, so you can have routes in Huawei Health and import them and basically just use the watch to follow the routes. Record at night, dim after sunset, then it gets this real cool orange, look in the Expedition mode, and yeah, that's just here for the settings. But let's start the Expedition and then I can show you how that feature looks like. So guys, we're a few minutes in the forest, let me show you how that looks like. Now first of all, here you can switch to the dim mode. So if you remember like 2000 to 2005 BMWs, in the night they also switched to orange, so you can read the speedometer better, and the same goes for the watch. So if it's dark, it's like much easier to read, better for the eyes, etc. If you, for instance, want to mark a waypoint, so this location right over here, I use a lot for filming, and I want to mark this waypoint right over here. So I just press the down button right over here, and it says now move to an open area. Now we're not in an open area, but still the watch directly in the forest with bad weather condition. It will take a bit longer. In the open area usually it just takes, you press and it has a fix. But here also, as you can see, took maybe 10 seconds now to mark the location. So now you can give the location a color, a red, and like here you have different things like default, start, camp suit, campsite, left, right, straight. So you can add different things, first aid, beast, danger. You see there's many things you can also customize. Let's put for instance here like shelter. Okay. So for instance, here we have now a waypoint for a shelter. And you see, if you then move from the waypoint, the watch will also tell you like how fast are you going away from the waypoint and how far are you away from the waypoint. And also it can automatically lock the waypoints in the interval you have seen before. So that's pretty cool. You have different views here. Here you have the maps. So I also downloaded the maps of this area. So we're exactly here. Here you can see the contour lines. You can also zoom out here. So we're here right now in the forest, so there's not much around. Anyhow, if we go back and go down here, here you have various tools. So this will also track, for instance, the air pressure. So it has basically the height data. Here you have your SPO2 tracking. So it can also track that in the background, as you can see. And oh my God, it starts to rain really bad. Let's go back. Flashlight, and you also have additional settings, the ones you have basically seen before. And also tools, of course, you can have the weather here directly on your watch, but currently I don't have internet, and yeah, because I don't also have an eSIM inside of the watch. But yeah, this is how it looks like. As you can see, a really nice view. You have your data in there, the date, time, altitude, SPO2, heart rate, waypoints. You can easily quickly mark waypoints right over here, sunrise, sundown. So this is really an exploration mode, and I think it is pretty cool. So I will now just continue to do my test here of the GPS in the forest and show you the results after. So guys, let's say I got lost here. Now there's 3 ways. I don't know how to get back. So if I want to navigate back, all I have to do is just go to the maps, go here to backtrack, and then I can use this. You see, it tells me how many meters left to go to the waypoint. It shows me also the direction using the compass, so I know directly where I have to go. But also if you want to use a real navigation, you can just go here to navigate. You just choose the marker. You want to go back. You see the coordinates even on there. You go to navigate. And yeah, I will just give you a full route back. Everything powered with colored maps by Pedal Maps. So that is pretty amazing. If you get lost somewhere, there's a way right over here, there's a way right over here, there's a way right over here. I just know exactly, okay, I just need to turn around, take this way and go back.
So guys, now let's quickly check out Huawei Health, Huawei smartphone, iPhone. The black one's connected to Huawei, the blue one's connected to the 17 Pro Max. And let me show you how it looks like. Now I'm running a beta version of basically Huawei Health here on iOS, so it can look on your device a little bit different. Now anyhow, here we have the main screen with the health overview. You can see here your basically your activity. You can also switch here to the health clovers, which is a different view. Here you can also quickly see, for instance, things like exercise records, your activity, your heart rate graph, weight, sleep, cycle calendar also for women. Here also skin temperature, SPO2. You see everything that emotional well-being. So basically all of that in there. More interesting for me is actually those health insights, and it showed me that exercising really makes sense because my resting heart rate is 5 BPM lower, my stress levels went down. So all of that keeps me super motivated to keep on going with exercising and stuff like this, because I see the results. Not only I feel the results, I also see them here in numbers, which I think is the best thing to motivate yourself. Now, when you buy the Huawei Watch Ultimate 2, you also get 3 months of the premium service from Huawei, which is Huawei Health Plus. As you can see, you can get 3 months for free. You don't need to enter a credit card or whatever, which is pretty cool. So you just activate it and there you go. With that feature activated, you have access to the Stay Fit plan, to diet analysis, premium courses. So it's basically like having a personal trainer for almost nothing. That service is incredibly cheap. If you like it, maybe check it out, because you get here that Stay Fit plan. You really get some insights on what do I have to do in order to achieve my goal, which is pretty cool if you don't have so much clue about sports and all of that stuff. So you can start exercises from right over here. As you can see, I cycled quite a bit with the watches, and I have to say I absolutely love it. If we go to devices right over here, you see the functionality is pretty much the same. There's some minor differences, but not really much. So let's tap at the watch, and here you can see that they have improved the iPhone support like crazy. Now in the beginning, like most of the things were only available on Android or Huawei smartphones, but as you can see right now, almost everything is the same. You can set up the eSIM. You can download offline maps on both. You also have app gallery on both. So it's pretty much the same, but there are more supported apps if you're using it with an Android smartphone or Huawei smartphone than using it on iOS. So there's still little differences, and also for notifications there are some differences. Like you can see and read notifications perfectly fine with an iPhone, but you don't have the feature like quick replies, which you can see right over here. So basically some to reply to WhatsApp messages. You cannot open the keyboard. So those things are missing here on the iPhone, but other than that, it is pretty much the same. Honestly, Huawei Health, it is working really good. I'm absolutely a big fan of Huawei Health. They also introduced a lot of features that you can export the data as well. So it's really worth it to have a look if Huawei Health can basically fulfill your needs. For me personally, it's absolutely perfect. But let's have a closer look now at the exercise records, because we also did a GPS test. So there we go. Let's have a closer look here at the exercise records, maybe at the Expedition mode. So as you can see, it looks very similar. The route, as you can see, it's a straight line between the waypoints, because that's how the Expedition mode works. So it's basically interpolating between the waypoints for that open field navigation. You also have this dynamic tracking, which is really cool. Basically, the app generates a video of your route, and also with some music. You can share that after on social media, whatever. It also has all the waypoints in there that we have saved in the Expedition mode, which is pretty cool. So if you see something cool across your expedition or tour, you can set it with the waypoints and find it also next time. For the outdoor cycling, I have to say the GPS worked incredibly well. Usually this is a 5-kilometer route. I just had to go a little bit around some things because it was just too muddy from all of the rain. So we ended up at 4.7 kilometers. But if I look at all the ways and I know exactly how they look in real life, you see the tracking is really fairly accurate. Also here around this forest, I went exactly across, like around the fence here, and it tracked it perfectly, and we had really bad weather conditions. Also, if I have a look in here, like that circle here looks perfectly nice, so it looks like a real circle in there, not some weird corners or whatever. So the GPS tracking seems to be really accurate, and the improved sunflower positioning system on the Ultimate 2 is doing a really good job. So you see, I use the watch a lot. Now I cycle basically every day. Here's for October. Here I've not been at home, but you see also almost everyday workout. And the watches keep me really motivated. They provide me all the data I need, like the calories burned, like the heart rate, but also there is more stats to it, like also the aerobic training stress and the recovery time I need from that. So that's all I need. I don't really need more data than that, but also there is the running ability index and much, much more. So if you're into different kind of sports, I really would suggest that you watch also some other channel reviews where they cover maybe those sports. But for me, cycling is really perfect because I also have this virtual power meter now included, and I think that's a really cool feature. So if you go here to the charts, you can see now here the virtual power. So the average was 90 watts, the maximum was 362 watts. And yeah, it seems to work also quite good. But of course, if you're using an e-bike, maybe that power meter can be a little bit off from the reality. But nevertheless, great watches for cycling, for diving, for playing golf, or for simply exploring or running. Those watches can basically track almost everything, and Huawei Health is getting really good. So guys, we're now here at the end of this video, and let me just quickly sum it up. So we have really premium grade materials in the smartwatch. This is basically what really attracts me to this watch. Now, I love classic mechanical watches, and this watch resembles it really good for a smartwatch. Now, personally for me, I cycle a lot. I like mechanical watches. I don't want to charge my watch every day. This smartwatch is just the perfect choice. Now, of course, it is not cheap, but also compare it, for instance, with the Apple Watch Ultra 2, how much that watch costs, and just factor in the build quality and stuff like this. So I think still for the price Huawei is asking, this watch is an extremely good deal. And on top of all that, you get that extremely high waterproof rating, which I'm probably not using because I don't go diving, but also you get a golf mode and Expedition mode and just so many more cool features. So if you want to have a closer look, make sure to check it out. I can guarantee you it's worth it. So you'll find a link down below in the description to the Huawei official website for your country. Make sure to check it out because in every country, you know, there is different offers, different dates, so have a closer look at that. So as always, guys, big thanks for watching. If you have any more questions, then feel free to write your questions down below in the comments and I'll try to answer as soon as possible. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Have a nice day and bye.